Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going to break down how you can transform your writing, taking it from a messy first draft to something that's polished, powerful, and ready to go, all through the art of revision.
So, here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about why revision is so important in the first place. Then, we'll get into how to prep for it. After that, we'll dive into a really cool 4-level system. We'll also hunt down some common writing mistakes. And finally, we'll wrap up with how to make all of this a part of your regular routine.
All right, first things first. Let's really get to the heart of it. Why is revision such a big deal? I mean, it's the one step that really separates pretty good writing from truly great writing, especially when the stakes are high. This is about way more than just catching typos. When you revise properly, you're making your message crystal clear. You're making it more persuasive. It just flat out makes you look more professional. And because of all that, your writing actually gets the results you want, plus you avoid those costly misunderstandings.
Okay, this is so important to get. Writing and revising are two totally different mindsets. Writing is all about being creative and just getting ideas out. It's about quantity. But revising, that's when you switch to your analytical brain. It's critical. It's about refining. It's all about quality. Trying to do both at the same time is a recipe for writer's block. It's like trying to build a wall and inspect it brick by brick. You'll just freeze up.
All right, so how do you get started? Well, the funny thing is, a great revision session doesn't begin with you changing words. Nope, it all starts with setting the stage for success.
The absolute most crucial thing you can do to prepare is to create some distance. Seriously, when you're too close to what you've written, your brain just fills in the gaps. You read what you meant to say, not what's actually there. So step away for a day if you can. Change your scenery. Even just printing it out can trick your brain into seeing it fresh. And my favorite tip? Read it out loud. Your ears will catch all the clunky sentences your eyes just skim over. It works like a charm.
Okay, now we're getting to the core of it. I want you to think of this process like using 4 different magnifying glasses. We're going to start with the widest possible view, the big picture, and then we're going to zoom in, getting more and more detailed with each step. So level 1 is global revision. We're taking that bird's eye view. We are not worrying about commas or fancy words right now. We're just looking at the skeleton of the document, the overall structure, the main argument, the big pieces. So, put on your architect hat. Before you worry about the paint color, you've got to check the foundation. Ask yourself the big questions. Does this thing flow logically from start to finish? Is my argument clear and strong? And just as important, is there anything missing? Or is there stuff in here that's just fluff and needs to go? Okay, level 2. We're zooming in a bit. Now we're looking at the building blocks of your document, the paragraphs. Each one of these has to be a solid, self-contained unit that does its job perfectly.
Look at each paragraph like it's its own mini essay. Does it have a clear topic sentence right up front telling me what it's about? Does every other sentence in that paragraph actually support that one main idea? And does it connect smoothly to the paragraph before and after it? No jarring jumps.
All right, level 3. The structure's solid, the paragraphs make sense. Now we can zoom in again and start polishing the individual sentences. This is where we make the writing sharp and impactful.
This is where your writing really comes alive. You're looking for clarity. You're chopping out unnecessary words. You're mixing up long sentences with short, punchy ones to create a nice rhythm. And you're making sure to use the active voice to make things direct and energetic.
And finally, level 4. We're grabbing the most powerful magnifying glass we have. We are zooming all the way in to look at the most basic component of all, the individual words you've chosen. Believe me, every single word counts. This is where you swap out a vague word like good for something precise like efficient or innovative. It's where you make sure you're not using confusing jargon, or if you are, you're explaining it. You're just making sure every word is pulling its weight and setting the right tone. Okay, so now that we have that awesome 4-level framework, let's go on a little hunt. We're going to track down some of the most common mistakes that sneak into our writing and talk about how to fix them.
Ah, a true classic. The active voice, the team submitted the report, is direct, it's clear, it has energy. The passive voice, the report was submitted, can feel a little weak and evasive. Now, it has its place, but honestly, you should probably be using the active voice 90% of the time. It's just stronger writing.
Oh man, just look at the difference here. The before is drowning in corporate fluff. The after says the exact same thing, but it's confident, it's direct, it respects the reader's time. Your mission is to find those wordy phrases in your own writing and be absolutely ruthless about cutting them.
Saying something performed well is, well, it's meaningless. It leaves your reader guessing. But when you add specific data, increased efficiency by 35%, suddenly your writing has authority. It's credible. It's persuasive. Always, always ask yourself, can I back this up with a number or a concrete detail? So, we have the system, we know what to look for. How do we make this whole thing stick? Let's talk about turning these ideas into a real, lasting habit that will just keep making your writing better and better.
So let's recap the big strategies. Remember to create that distance first. Then work through those 4 levels, from the big picture all the way down to the tiny details. Always be on the lookout for things like wordiness and vagueness. And finally, be open to feedback from other people. This is your complete toolkit.
If you take away just one thing today, let it be this. Great writing isn't some magic that flows out perfectly the first time. It is forged in the revision process. That's not a chore you do at the end. It's the most important part of the work. It's where good ideas become great communication. When you really embrace revision, not as a punishment, but as an essential part of your craft, you put yourself on a path of constant growth. You won't just write better documents, you'll become a clearer thinker and a more confident, effective communicator in everything you do.